bit different today. Here we have some G.I. Joe figures. Now, it's not been the best of times to be a fan of G.I. Joe. Yeah, the releases have been few and far between. The movie was the last big release, but that didn't actually seem to make it over to the UK. So for a UK fan, it's a real nightmare trying to get hold of G.I. Joes. So I was quite pleased when some 50th anniversary figures popped up on Kapow Toys. And yeah, so I grabbed these 2 3-packs. There are also a couple of vehicle packs and some, I think, twin packs as well. But yeah, I wanted to go for the 3-packs. So they're basically, the theme is overwhelming odds. So you've got 2 Joes and a member of Cobra, 2 members of Cobra, and a Joe. So from left to right, with Leatherneck, Deathstroke, General Hawk, a Cobra Trooper, Beachhead, and a Cobra Viper officer. So what I'm going to do is go through each of these individually, and then yeah, I'll talk about each individual one, because they all have positives and negatives, and some of them are a bit more common with the negatives, shall we say. But yeah, so I think what we'll do is we'll start from the right this time, so we'll do the Viper officer first, and yeah, and then we'll work through the rest. So here we have the Cobra Viper, Viper officer. He's in quite an unusual deco. He's obviously got the red vest and 4 arms, and then this lovely grey, some black knee pads. There's a bit of slightly different coloured grey all around. Little dots of that on the backpack, and he comes with these 2 quite nice black weapons. You've got the what is that? It's an MP5, and then yeah, I think this is just the standard sort of fake Viper weapon. Not entirely sure. And you've got the gold, some gold spots, the gold mask, and then the gold glasses as well, goggles. But yeah, he just isn't as impressive as this figure, and basically this is a repaint of this particular figure. Trying to remember which line this is in. This might have been Pursuit of Cobra, actually, thinking back. But you can see, look at that chrome helmet. I mean, that chrome faceplate, so much nicer than this gold. And that's the real shame with this figure, is this is a repaint of this, and this is a terrible repaint of this particular figure. I mean, this Cobra officer has no Cobra markings. I can't find a single Cobra marking. He's got Cobra on his belt there, and that's, as far as I can see, the only Cobra there. There's even an unpainted Cobra on his backpack. And you compare that to the figure that he's based on, and this guy has Cobra symbol there, he's got a Cobra symbol there, yeah, I mean, and another Cobra symbol on that shoulder. This figure is so much better than this figure. Literally the best thing about this figure is that it's got this lovely gold gold stand, and that's basically it. I mean, this is not a good repaint. It really isn't, and it's a shame. You know, I mean, when they've already made one of the best Cobra Vipers, because if you compare this one with the original release, or the fancier version of the original release, even though this one is more accurate to a real American hero, this one fixes a lot of the problems. The gloves are all fixed, and he looks a lot more military. I mean, this is a jack-booted version. But ultimately, these 2 here are so much better than this figure here, and that's a real shame that Hasbro have been fairly cheap with that particular figure. So yeah, okay, so on to the next one. So here we have the rank and file Cobra Trooper, and it's a really well realised Cobra Trooper, and it should be, because it's basically this Cobra Trooper here, and this was the best Cobra Trooper we'd had. And they've basically re-released it. It seems to be a slightly different colour, or it may just be my imagination. Both figures, excellent figures, and it's really neat to be able to actually have 2 of these guys. But yeah, like the Cobra Trooper, the Viper, This is just a re-release essentially, but this one is a like-for-like re-release. I mean, there's just no differences between these two. Yeah. And I mean, that's not to say it's a problematic. If you're going to do a 3-pack, well, yeah, if you're going to do a 3-pack and it's going to have Joes versus Cobra, you either release just troop builders or you release characters. So it is kind of a shame that this one is in there as a in what would be more suited to a character line. I mean, this is a single release figure like this one was. You know, this figure really should be on its own, or in a pack of multiples of these. It's a brilliant figure, it really is. I don't think it's suitable for these 3-packs. I really don't. I mean, it would be much better if it was double packed with another rank and file figure, but G.I. Joes don't really tend to have that these days. I mean, you had sort of the basic grunts, but yeah, I mean, this is a brilliant figure, but I don't think it belongs. I mean, he's really well painted. There's a fantastic Cobra symbol on the chest, just as this one has. The eyes aren't too derpy, which is always a good thing. And the gear he comes with, the RPG and the Dragonov, I think, is all really neat. You can see he's got a pistol there, separate pistol. The knife is separate as well. Really, really nice. The webbing is pretty neat, and the helmet is fairly solid. It stays on. Which is something that I hated with other Cobra Trooper figures, is those stupid helmets. I mean, this one is basically the perfect Cobra Trooper. So if you haven't got a perfect Cobra Trooper, you probably need to find this pack then, or at least find someone who's selling the perfect Cobra Trooper at a cheap price. So rounding off the first set, we have the G.I. Joe, which is in this case Beachhead. It's a really good version of Beachhead, to be honest. There's a it kind of mixes a lot of various Beachheads we've seen over the years, and so he's got the balaclava, and he's got the sort of rolled collar that we've seen on other versions of Beachhead, but with some really nice military gear with the knee pads, which I don't think we've seen. Well, we've seen it on a few of them, but not too many. I really like this one, but yeah, there's just a few things. I mean, for a start, he has the crossbow on the back. Now, if you've ever owned one of these, one of the Beachheads from the 25th anniversary onwards, then you'll know that's a ginormous pain in the behind. It's made of 2 pieces, slots in there, if you're lucky, and this one seems to be staying fairly solid, but I do know that on other versions of Beachhead, yeah, I don't always find it, because it keeps falling around. Now this version is one of the, I think it's the Hall of Fame that was released, and this is kind of the sort of one true Beachhead, to be honest. I do think that the legs on this one look a bit better in design. They're a lot more sort of modern military than this one, but obviously, and this is the one thing that I find weird, is they didn't use this head sculpt. This is the kind of proper Beachhead head sculpt from the Real American Hero days. And instead they've just gone for this plain balaclava, which is kind of mass produced, to be honest. There's loads of figures that have that same kind of look. I don't think there's any difference between that and the standard one, whereas this one is very much the unique version. And as you'll see, like the paint job on it is a little bit weaker as well. I don't know if we can see that close up, but yeah, the paint job is just not as strong as the Hall of Fame version. He comes with pretty much the same gear. There's 2 different rifles, I think, with this one. but yeah, I mean, it's a really good version, but we've seen this Beachhead numerous times, and it is kind of weird having Beachhead, like a non sort of rank and file Joe with the two Cobra figures, because really those Cobra figures, you'd expect them to be an army builder pack more than anything else, but you don't. As much as I love Beachhead, I don't want an army of Beachheads. I mean, it would be quite good if you can keep swapping this head around with various other versions and have a nice big force of similarly styled soldiers, but yeah, I mean, it's a really good version, but I think this is kind of the best version of the original Beachhead, but the Pursuit of Cobra Beachhead is probably my favourite one, just because he looks. I mean, I think he does have that head sculpt, but he generally looks a little bit more modern military. But yeah, so overall, this first set is, yeah, I mean, it's okay. You know, I mean, with these three figures around, I kind of like it, but in many ways it does feel like there's it's kind of a missed opportunity. You know, you've got this budget looking Viper, and you know, pretty decent Cobra Trooper, and then you've got a sort of mishmash Beachhead, and that's a real shame. It's a decent set. I mean, it's if you don't have any Joes and you like these three, then yeah, I mean, it's a fairly decent set. I do think this Viper really does let the whole thing down. These two would be great in a 2-pack probably. They'd be all right. But yeah, you really want to army build this guy, but you can't do that if you need these. If you get these two guys alongside it, so it is kind of a shame. I mean, if they'd done this set and had 2 Cobra Troopers, I might have been a little bit less bothered about it, to be honest, because I like Beachhead, and 2 Cobra Troopers would be pretty awesome, because they are hard. They're always hard to come by for some reason, especially in the UK. Every G.I. Joe is hard to come by. So yeah, right, now move on to the next set, and I think what we'll probably do is we'll probably start with General Hawk. Right, this is I quite like this version of General Hawk. It's basically the exact same General Hawk as this one. I'm trying to remember what series this is from. There have been so many. But yeah, it's a good, yeah, it's a decent enough General Hawk. It's not obviously, I mean, this is kind of much more of the modern modern Joe version. So probably Pursuit of Cobra ish. I think that the original one came out. It's really nice, lots of gear. I still don't think it quite. I mean, it doesn't work as an homage like this version does. This one is always really cool to see. I do love this General Hawk, but you know, it is a solid figure. It's like an excellent, really. I mean, this guy is very much a character of his time. That being the 80s, but this guy is definitely modern military. There's some really cool touches to his uniform design with all the strapping. Then you've got the various bits of webbing. His case contains, I mean, it's the submachine gun and laptop case, I think that one is. Yeah, so I mean, he is really cool. The goggles come off, which is obviously a point of warning. That's a bit, you know, they can be quite loose. I much prefer if the goggles are stuck on, but these goggles are actually they are actually see-through plastic, so they're clear plastic. So so you know, I mean, it's really nice. It's just a really nice solid figure. you know, and his helmet comes off, and he's got a nice flat top. It's a really good head sculpt, actually. I do think they've done a really good job of capturing someone who's very much in charge. So overall, it's a good figure, but it's nothing new. It's very much like the Cobra Trooper. There's absolutely nothing new to it. It's identical in every way to the one we've seen previously, which is a shame. You know, it's if you're getting if they're doing a new set and they're doing quite a bit of homaging in the set, then yeah, it's a real shame that they haven't kind of done a cross between this General Hawk and the one based on a real American hero. That's a real shame. But overall, yeah, fairly solid figure. So next up we've got Leatherneck. He's probably one of the best of this whole set, and I think him and as you'll see with Deathstroke, kind of make this pack a little bit of a better pack. His sculpt, it's heavily reminiscent of the Rock version of Roadblock. Yeah, I mean this all this sculpting with all of his popped veins. It's just, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is pretty much the Rock's G.I. Joe Retaliation figure, but with a new head sculpt, and it's a really good head sculpt. I do like that version. It does still remind me a lot of Gung Ho. I can't stop that feeling of it being Gung Ho. But he's a really good figure. He's really tall as well. I mean, you check him against Hawk, and Hawk is a dinky fella compared to Leatherneck, and that's pretty neat. I do like how big this guy is, and yeah, he's just a really good figure. Pretty decent paint job overall. Yeah, I really like him. He comes with the what is that, an M16 with a underslung grenade launcher, so I guess it's, what is it, an M203 or something like that, I think it's called. And he also comes with the 50 cal, which is, yeah, this is just, I don't like this. This doesn't like staying in. I'll probably need to glue it for it to work properly. I mean, it's nice. I don't know what that kind of looks a bit weird and out of place, but you know, it's pretty good. It's yeah, I mean, to be honest, most of the time I display my Joes with Marauder Gunrunners guns instead. But overall, yeah, I really like this version of Leatherneck. Really do. I think it's a really strong figure. Nice addition. I don't already have a Leatherneck. I'm not even sure if there was one so far in this format. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this guy, and that I've got him in my collection. So yeah, so next up is going to be basically the kind of pièce de résistance. There are some issues, but yeah, we'll get to that. So here we have my favourite of the set. That's kind of why I left him last. It's Deathstroke, and yeah, this is an excellent Deathstroke. This is a proper callback to a real American hero Deathstroke. I really love the sculpt on this guy. He is absolutely massive. I think he shares quite a bit with an existing version. In fact, we'll just have a check, because this is the existing version. I mean, he's bigger. I mean, look how big he is compared to his original release. I mean, these are basically the same figure, but a much newer version, much bulkier version, and a real tough looking guy. Now, unfortunately, this Deathstroke is also a very good demonstration of the kind of cheapness in production of this set, and that's a real shame, because look at these head sculpts. This one is the nice shiny chrome plated Deathstroke, absolutely gorgeous, and this one is just silver plastic Deathstroke. That's a real shame. That it really is. There have been some really good Deathstroke releases recently. The Pursuit of Cobra release where he's in his Iron Grenadier outfit has such a beautiful head sculpt, and this guy, I mean, it's really good. There's so much character in this head sculpt. There really is. I mean, that is a fantastic head sculpt. He's mean. It's just really angular. It looks like a metal mask a bit more than some of these do. I mean, this one just looks like it's vacuum plated metal, vacuum plated plastic, which it is. But yeah, this head sculpt is really nice. If this head had been chrome plated or, well, vacuum metalized, I mean, this would have been the perfect Deathstroke. It really is. He's got his rocket launchers, he's got his grenades. It's just amazing. It really is. Really lovely figure. Really pleased about this figure. Not sure if he makes up for the shortcomings of the rest of the pack. I mean, it's a good pack. It's a good pack, this one. I think it's better. It's better than the other one. It makes more sense because you're getting 3 characters. You are getting, you know, 3 characters. Well, I'm still not sure about Leatherneck, but you're getting at least 2 characters we've seen before. But with this guy, you're getting the best version of this particular Deathstroke. You really are. Yeah, I can't really talk this up more. If it's just this head. If it was shinier, it would be great. I mean, it works because obviously his neck is silver as well, so it's a solid colour scheme. Whereas this one, the neck, I think, is just, yeah, it's just painted. So, you know, it works, and it also kind of doesn't work. If anything, Hawk is the one that kind of lets it down because he's already been released in exactly the same format. I mean, pretty much gear for gear, he's been released like this. But yeah, overall, if you want to get some decent G.I. Joe figures, and you fancy going for one of the 3 packs, get these 3. Get these 3. It's great having the Cobra Trooper around. I mean, he's, you know, having multiple Cobra Troopers is obviously always a dream of any child. Well, from any child of the 80s wants lots of Cobra Troopers. But I don't think the other 2 figures in that set really make up for that Cobra Trooper, or really make up a decent set compared to these guys. This is a decent Hawk. That's really nice to see Leatherneck, and that is a truly excellent Deathstroke. So yeah, get the one where the Joes outnumber Cobra, and that's my kind of recommendation for this. You know, they're good 3 packs. Hasbro are clearly not spending too much money on G.I. Joe, which is a shame. And I think if you want really good G.I. Joes, you're going to have to stump up the money for the Collectors Club. But if you want some G.I. Joes quickly and relatively inexpensively, well, presuming they're still available, get this pack because you want this Deathstroke. You do. You really want that Deathstroke. Alright, okay, thanks for watching.